Wednesday, my dude.
Oh, where are we? There we are.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Punch Up Pod with Lila and Pat and Zeynab. Pat, you're pushing all the buttons today. I'm going to throw you under the bus. Happy Wednesday.
It is me. We'll own it. 0 minutes without a mistake.
0 days without a mishap. We normally have a more gentle introduction to our guest, but Pat just is showing how all the sausage is made.
And I wasn't supposed to bring Zane on. That's 2 mistakes.
That's a lot of pre-gaming that we all did before the show. Well, so there's no mystery, of course. We might as well just jump right into it because there's actually so much to get to. Zeynab,
drop back down.
Our good friend, how are you? Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Hello. I'm so excited to be up here with you guys again. Thanks so much for having me.
We are so excited. You know, we have done a lot of work together. We follow the work that you do on your own and with Status Quo and through Bulletin Bullhorn. And you are nonstop, my friend.
I don't know. I need to do a lot more, but
you what?
Thank you. I said I feel like I need to do a lot more.
Oh, come on now. That's crazy. That's crazy talk. Yeah. So the news doesn't let up. It gets worse and worse. And just for anybody who isn't aware, Zeynab and Pat and I at the end of last year, the middle of last year, started working on a show we were doing together on the tech bro billionaires, the broligarchy, and there was so much there, and I think we were all just sort of feeling overwhelmed, but you've continued like really zoning in on it, and also it's so clear now that it's part of every aspect of all the horrors that the world is dealing with.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, we were covering, and I know you guys talked about this before we even started that project, the Imperial Boomerang. Were warning that it was going to come back, that they were going to start using that tech here, that they were potentially going to sell that tech to the DHS, that, you know, the training that was being done with DHS and with the IDF and with Israel was going to come back home. You know, we've been ringing the bell on that. And you guys were ringing the bell on that for a long time. And sadly, we're seeing all of that come to fruition now.
Yeah. It's, well, so, okay.
It's almost like it's the easiest thing on earth to predict that bad things are going to keep happening and it's all going to get worse. And the more they've bought their way into our politics, you know, these tech bros, they own all of our politicians now, and they own our foreign policy even because they're making money in Israel. They want Iran to be the next enemy. It just goes on. And then they're tied in with the tech to ICE and then Deportation Military Industrial Complex and all. It's just
Epstein,
and Epstein's connected to every piece of everything we ever talk about. And
the human trafficking, all of it. So let's start at the beginning of this article that you have just written. Why don't you sort of start with that and let's break it down, because it was so well organized and it's so dense. There is a lot to tackle.
You know, I wrote it because I was so frustrated. I wanted to give like a historical context and to have like a resource that we can go back to. Because right now I feel like liberals are on this line of, you know, so just to give starters, I helped to lead the Abolish ICE movement. You guys remember that, when I worked at Brand New Congress.
That's right.
I helped to write the platform for the Abolish ICE movement, but it was so much more that we were asking for than Abolish ICE. We were talking about repealing the Patriot Act and abolishing the DHS. So Abolish ICE was just kind of the tagline
that
took off, but there was a lot more to it. And right now, I feel like a lot of these liberals are whitewashing Obama's record, and
my
they're
God.
honing in on abolish ICE, almost like ignoring that the CBP are part of this, that DHS is part of this. And I feel like that's kind of intentional from the Democrats, because I feel like they could defund ICE potentially. They're not going to,
Right.
and then just shift money around and
Right.
keep the whole industrial complex in place, all these privatized concentration camps and everything else in place. So I
Right.
wanted to lay down a foundation of like what the hell happened before, because it didn't start with Trump. It started way before him, and the foundations were laid before he was ever president. And I don't know why I'm talking like this. I'm like, it was laid way before Trump.
But it's so important that people recognize the bipartisan nature of it, because you can't just go back to a more humane Obama version of it.
Right.
Because that was not humane to start with. And once these industries have bought their way into both parties, you may be able to peel back the cruelty factor that's so openly available. But those industries are going to want money from the government, and they're used to getting fed, and all these politicians still need to support them.
Yeah. And the other thing that is, I mean, repulsive is so many liberals saying Obama deported even more people, but he didn't do it with all of this fanfare. And it's like, wow, that's what you're congratulating him, or you're praising him for something equally cruel, but just because he was able to keep it more hidden. That's insane to me.
Yeah, and that's literally what they're arguing. I saw the guy from the Bulwark, and he was like, I'm all for, he was on Piers Morgan, and I talk about it in the article. He's like, I'm all for deportations. And then Brian Tyler Cohen said, Piers Morgan asked about Obama's record, and he's like, I don't know. I was in college when that happened. Well, dude, you have a platform of 5 million people, and you're talking about politics every day, and you're not even going to look at the record?
Yeah, just no context.
No, I was in college. Well, okay, so you can't talk about the Iraq War. You can't talk about Vietnam. Don't talk about anything that happened before you graduated.
Yeah.
And
what is that?
I mean, honestly, as someone went to college, that's when you pay attention to the history for the first time ever. Like more so than in high school. That's like the peak. You're going to pay attention to, I mean, when you get older, we naturally do, but like you being in college is not an excuse for not having followed politics.
Exactly.
Like I just don't. That's
look at all the kids in college who are getting their heads smashed in, or who were, because of protesting a genocide. I do. Okay, so why did Obama, he came in saying he was going to prosecute George W. for lying us into the Iraq War. He was going to get us out of Afghanistan. He was going to close Gitmo. He was, all these different things. And then he ends up increasing ICE funding by 3,600%. He adds, thousands of people to the roster. He militarizes our police. What is that? Why? Just money?
I think that's part of it, because, can't really say it's just Citizens United, because that happened during Obama's administration. Because, I mean, Bill Clinton repealed Glass-Steagall. He eroded our, we essentially almost had tuition-free college. It was subsidized at 85%, and Bill Clinton completely eroded that. For state and community colleges. So when boomers say, I went to school and then I paid it off during the summer, well, yeah, because you were subsidized it. You almost had tuition-free college.
Yeah.
He also eroded child care subsidies. There's all kinds of things that he dismantled. So I think money is part of it, but we can't really blame it completely on that, when the last Democratic president we had did the bidding of the Heritage Foundation before Obama.
That's right. That's right.
And I think also, I mean, we all know that Biden and Kamala shifted their positions for political reasons only as far as immigration goes. So, but that had a massive effect on the general public, because they're like, both sides think this immigration is a massive issue now. And the Democrats just let it go for political expediency. Like it's easier to just embrace it than fight it. But that has tremendous harm.
Mm-hmm. And it's wild to me because I was comparing Bush's record, and Bush did horrible things, like rendition happened under Bush. You know, you had Gitmo under Bush.
Yep.
But he was to the left of Obama on the actual immigration practices, which is insane. Like Obama, most of these privatized detention centers, Obama was opening up, you know, dozens and dozens and dozens of these across the country.
Right.
They were going into abandoned, and I didn't say this specifically in the article, but he was buying out, because Walmart supercenters were being built at the time. I'm sure you guys remember this. He was commissioning out old Walmarts for Core Civic and Geo Group to set up shop there for the concentration camps while he was in the administration. And in the article, and we could talk about this in just a little bit, but I go into like a long history of abuse. The ACLU sued him at least 37 times, least 37 times, many of those class action lawsuits, and won because he was skirting the constitutional rights in a similar way that Trump is doing now.
Yeah. And you know, I think, because I know we spend a lot of time blaming Democrats for where we are, because, you know, for several reasons. One is to wake up people who aren't aware. Like, yes, what's happening right now is much more in your face. It seems to revel in the cruelty. But when Obama was being sued, or the protests were happening and he was called the deporter in chief, those communities were feeling the trauma and the terror that was happening. So like, yes, it is now affecting more white middle class people. They're seeing it. Obviously, you know, Renee Good and Alex Pretty were killed, along with other people, but who were Black and brown, who were killed, who are never mentioned as much, right? So like, there is an escalation and people are waking up to it. But it's so important to know that just because, I mean, it's like the meme or the, you know, just because you all go back to brunch and go to sleep, those cruel actions are still happening. Those policies are still affecting people. And the fact on some level that the Democrats have this, you know, empathetic kind, oh, his only scandal was a tan suit, allows them to get away with the cruelty for such a long time. And that's what paves the way for fascism. That's it, you know?
Yeah, Lila is right.
Good night, everybody.
Drop the
Good night.
I agree. And one of the things that really bothers me is that the Democrats act like DHS is a staple, right? Like it's always been here, when the reality is it was only established in 2003. It was created under the Homeland Security Act and under the umbrella of the Patriot Act. And it's been getting tens of billions of dollars annually ever since. And the INS had problems. That was how immigration was done before.
Right.
But the truth is, when they switched over from the INS to the DHS, they let a bunch of lawyers go. They let a bunch of staff go. They completely gutted it. And then they're like, oh, there's all these undocumented people now. Well, a lot of those people had documentation before DHS was founded. They had documentation through the INS. And then once, my dog is eating something. Give me just a second.
Well, let's take this moment. We didn't say thank you to our subscribers, and let's do
we
that.
don't do that at the beginning anymore. Just as a reminder, Pat's really out of it. No, it's at the end of our one good thing at the end of the show. But we will remind people, please, to
that's what I meant.
Sorry, I thought you meant to run that scroll. I'm like, I was worried about you. Yes, please do make sure to like and subscribe and smash that notification bell. We are trying our best to get the word out on Upscrolled as well as Blue Sky. Mainly, we are on Twitter and YouTube, but we're trying. We are trying. So please do make sure to like and subscribe. Okay, is your dog okay?
And comment under the videos. I need to do that more often.
Thank you. Yes. Okay, so is your dog okay?
Yes. Doctor's appointment letter. At least it wasn't Lydia's homework. I don't know.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so a couple of things. One, let's just talk about the terror that's happening much more clearly, that statements like this can be put out by our DHS. Want affordable housing, help report illegal aliens in your area. if you're an illegal alien, you can take control of your departure using dhs.gov. So explicitly, I mean, like, that's Nazi speak, like a Gestapo, like report your neighbors, but also tying our economic devastation in this country where nobody can afford a home or rent to illegal immigrants.
It's finding an excuse for everything wrong in the country, and scapegoating immigrants, which then further justifies this cruelty in their mind. But I've seen the same thing with groceries being done now lately.
Yep.
Like, your groceries are so expensive because of the illegal immigrants. Well, a large part of why our groceries are so expensive is you got rid of the workers. The workers are scared. Consumers are buying less. They're
greed, honestly. Like, egg prices went up because of, everything went up because of the supply chain at the beginning of COVID. Nothing came back down. The eggs went up because of bird flu, never went back down. Home prices went up because, Blackstone's allowed to buy everything, and Vanguard or whatever, right? Like, all of those things, we have no regulations. That's because of immigrants. But, the thing about illegal, like, oh, you've done a crime because you crossed here illegally, that was also really ramped up under Obama. Like, that became a crime. And of course, yes, there is illegal, you can come into the country illegally, of course, but like, it's really difficult to believe that anybody cares about breaking the law when we see everybody who's in power and what they're doing, right?
And to be honest, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, so clearly during Biden, whether they like it or whether the MAGA folks like it or not, a lot of people came over here legally because they were encouraged to come into the country, and that was the process to follow. Come over legally, don't struggle, don't cross the plains and have your babies die over there, and but those people, they followed the law, so they are not here illegally, no matter how you want to classify and undo the law that was put in place under Biden. Not to defend Biden. But
that was also true under Obama, and Obama did things like squirreled back on refugee statuses. He did similar things to what Trump is doing. DACA recipients. I don't know if you guys remember, some of you guys will remember the big, huge protest about DACA at the time. And DACA are specifically like people that are brought here as children, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years old. And some of these people, Obama was deporting en masse and sending them to countries that they literally, some of them couldn't even speak the language, had never been from, because they had been here their entire lives.
Decades. They had been here.
Decades. 20, 30 years sometimes. Or they're in their teens and they're in high school here, and they're separating them from like their family members and sending them back. And that the problem is that deferred action, the loophole in DACA was that they can't apply for citizenship if they apply for that.
Right.
There's no true pathway to citizenship. It's very screwed up. And so it's very easy for them, and Congress should have codified this. Democrats had a majority. They were able to codify it, and they never codified DACA. They never codified it into law, into legislation. So it's always been up to the presidency.
And it's one of those issues where the public at large supported DACA, even among Republicans. They were converted. And when Obama drops this policy, when Biden starts supporting it and then drops it himself, that was the selling out moment where it's like, okay, you guys are flipping your position on immigration and just pretending that the Republicans want it. When in effect, Democrats had they had the higher moral standing, and the public supported them on DACA.
I mean, it's holding us all hostage. It's like abortion. It's the same thing. I mean, Chris Murphy was just saying about ICE and deportations and how many more Obama got than Trump. Like, nanny, nanny, boo, boo. We're so much better at deporting people than your team is. I mean, it's like insanity.
It is. It's like Taco. Like, Trump always kicks us out. You want him to deport more people? Then brag about how many deportations Obama had.
Right.
Like, what are you doing?
Instead of combating the messaging, they could combat the messaging. You know, in 2017, when there were millions of people that were supporting abolish ICE, right? There were most people wanted to get rid of the Patriot Act because of the overreach, because of what Julian Assange exposed, because of what WikiLeaks exposed, because they were spying on us, because they saw these immigration practices as inhumane. Like, Obama was called deporter in chief. His immigration policies were very unfavorable. And we had the majority there as far as people that supported like pathways to citizenship, supporting migrants. But the Democrats let the Republicans run with that. And the Democratic Party establishment, they didn't challenge their narrative. They brought on, places like MSNBC and CNN brought on people like Peter Jennings, and they were normalizing these people that were pushing white replacement theory as if that was debatable. So they were giving all this runway for the Republicans to fearmonger, and then they started fearmongering themselves because it's easier to do that and try to pull those quote unquote never Trumpers than to actually do anything that their base wants every fucking time. Excuse my language, but they always do that.
I mean, it's also just such a huge money-making scheme, this complex, right? It's the surveillance, it's the cages, the migration centers, it's the private prisons, it's the people, the phone people who sell the ability to talk to people's loved ones once they're being caged. It's the food industry who, like, there's a whole world now that relies on us caging people and treating them like this.
But once you've created that network, unpeeling them from our government is difficult because all these politicians, them and their cronies, have bought into those industries. Their own stocks are in all these private ICE-related detention center industries. So they're not going to vote without, massive, like, you're going to get Luigi pressure on them to roll this stuff back.
Right. And one of the things that I found out, when I was researching for this article is that there's bed quotas at these detention centers that, CBP or that Core Civic and Geo Group are two of the companies that are some of the main companies that do this. They have privatized prisons as well, but they have bed quotas, and whether those beds are filled or not, they're still paying for those beds. The DHS pays them every day for those beds. When they're filled, they pay them even more.
That's right.
So there's an incentive to go out and to push ICE to then fill those beds, which is asinine.
Which is part of the reason, even when somebody is proffering up her papers to say, I'm a U.S. citizen, they're like, okay, well, we'll deal with it down at, Whipple Station or whatever. Like, every time. Or, why is a 5-year-old child going to Texas, right? Like, all of those things, there's the private planes that are contracted with the government to take these people who are being detained. All of it is all just about making money. I always think it's interesting. There was a time in 2016 where AOC, or that was 2018, but like in the Trump's first regime, where there were a lot of Democrats who were crying about kids in cages and showing pictures. And at one point, the Pod Save Boys put out on blast on Twitter, hey, could you all stop sharing these pictures? These are from 2014. Those kids were in cages, and maybe some people didn't realize. And yes, maybe now it's crueler and they're more, but for the people who were being deported then, and the cruelty and the families that were being split up and the hopes and dreams that were being crushed, those were happening, and people are just mad now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you take even at the front line, these ICE workers are incentivized to arrest people, right? So they have quotas, right? And then, so even if it's even you took the money out of it, some of these people are just flat out white supremacists. So they have a cruelty quota for their own people. Like, we have authority from the president to be cruel to brown people. Let's go. Let's do this.
Yeah, I talk about like research that was done, and I think it was like there was one research study that I talk about in the article where more than 300 people, 300 white nationalists had infiltrated ICE under Obama specifically. That was something that I was covering back then as a journalist. And then when I started working at Brand New Congress, was the fact that there were so many white supremacists they were literally recruiting, and that training was only 4 to 6 weeks. So, you know, the Democrats are running around talking about how training, they're just undertrained, they're just
Oh my God.
undertrained. But the person that shot Renee Good and killed her had been first a DHS agent and then had become an ICE agent, and had been or first a CBP agent, then became Customs Border Patrol, then became ICE. But he had been in the system for what, 15 years after serving in the military.
The training is the problem.
Yeah.
They are doing exactly what they were trained to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. The same with the body camera.
Alex Preddy, it was CBP. They were CBP. They weren't even ICE. And news keeps saying it's ICE. And I'm like, it was CBP. There is a difference. If you're talking about defunding ICE as a Democrat, you need to talk about what the hell you're going to do with CBP.
Right. Yeah. Yes. Why aren't we funneling that money towards the legal system that would help process people's applications so they're not living in constant fear without citizenship or documentation? So it's the whole thing with training, the body cameras, which is another thing that is something that those people have wanted the whole time. And it was Obama who switched it and made it a Democratic case for body cameras, knowing that it was actually what law enforcement wanted. But now that's like, oh, this is how we'll have some ability to, hold people accountable. But that's not the way it's worked out. The training doesn't work out that way. And this mask thing, LAPD just made an announcement that they will not enforce the federal ban on these agents wearing masks in a Democratic city, in a Democratic state.
Wild.
Yeah.
So
all cops are bad. We can't start thinking that there's some good cops. I mean, I'm glad they put that out in the open because they're all bad.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
They're all part of the same machine, right?
Yeah. Which is why, like, having the National Guard handing snacks out in Minneapolis, like, don't make me defend cops. Like, Don Lemon and cops, I do not want to have to defend, please. Caitlin Collins. Like, even if Trump is awful to them, they're still not worth defending. Okay, so Obama hands this over to Trump 1. And where do you see the escalation, or what's your, how did he take that and run with it?
I think that, with Trump, he sort of legalized family separation in a way. So the court system that was happening under Obama, right? And the court system had said, there's 2 things you can't do. District judges had declared based on ACLU, my dog is crazy. I don't know why she does this when I get on live. She goes nuts.
That's so
and
funny.
This has only been the last couple times. Okay. So the ACLU, I can't even think. Twice. Lydia, would you please help me out with her? Is she coughing? Okay. I'm so sorry, guys.
It's okay. You can go handle it.
No, it's okay. She got her now. She was coughing. She's old. She's like 11 and a half.
Oh,
she's on the struggle bus these days.
So
sorry, guys.
It's okay. It's okay. Of course.
Pets are loved ones too, but
that's right. So Obama's guy, Homan, comes into Trump's administration, and he's the family separation guy, right? Sorry, yes, I was just trying to get you back. I know you're distracted, so I'm just like the through line. Yeah.
Yeah. So Trump did escalate in that way because he was ignoring the court orders that were put forward under Obama, which Obama did start to kind of loosely obey. One of the things that the court order said that that Obama could not do was utilize, because Obama came out and openly said that fear is part of his tactic. Separating families was in order to be a deterrent, and he specifically named Argentina and Venezuela when speaking about who he wanted to deter from coming here. So they were like, no, you can't have this concentration camp in Texas to scare families from coming here. That's and a judge backed up ACLU. I believe it was a judge in New York. So, but like he is now, Trump ignored those. He brought in family separation. He amped up tactics. They further militarized ICE. And back then he had started doing things like there were people abducting people in vans from protest, if you guys remember, under Trump.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is he didn't get the Muslim ban passed, and he had people in his administration that were still bucking him.
Right.
Because it wasn't just Stephen Miller. He had people that were leaving the administration.
Right.
He had Paul Ryan, I believe it was, and Mitt Romney was pushing back against this.
Right.
John McCain, when John McCain was still there, was pushing back against it. So some more high-profile Republicans were pushing back against it. All of that's been eroded and deteriorated over the last 5
round
years.
2. Once you put Pam Bondi in place, the Constitution's gone. Basically,
his 14-year-old, he knew her when she was 14. One of his escorts, 14 years old. So they are now saying that they have the right to do these warrantless home invasions, and they're arresting families at hospitals. They are disappearing so many people that I think, is it still 1,200 people from Alligator Alcatraz? They don't know where they are. And now in Minneapolis, there were the 2 children, I think 4 and 5, who were abducted, sent away, and then returned. The little boy who we've all seen the picture of, I can't remember his name right now, and his father, they're back, although the Trump administration is fighting to send them back to Texas from Minneapolis. Like, it is just cruelty. But there are more people from more children from that same county in Minnesota that Minneapolis is part of, who are missing. And that, this is where the child trafficking part of it and the human trafficking part of it really enter in, because what happens when you have you have masked up agents who aren't giving any identity. They don't have badge numbers. They aren't handing out anything. People are like shouting after cars that are kidnapping people. Like, where are you taking this person? If you try to follow a car, you're going to have another group of goons, cut you off and approach you with guns, brandishing their guns. So they are like incorporating this way to disappear people.
And even if they're not themselves disappearing people, which they are, you're letting the white supremacists have who knows what is actually happening behind the scenes with them. I mean, they can get away with what. Imagine you're Hispanic and you're stopped and you want to comply and make sure you're following the rules, and you got some white supremacists with the van. I mean, who knows? There's no accountability. If 1,200 people can go missing at a fucking federal detention center and they don't know where they are, like, we don't know where, and these people aren't going to come forward and report the missing people as easily because they don't trust the government. So,
and remember, it's privatized. It's privatized. So it's called a federal detention center, but they won't allow members of Congress in to Alligator Alcatraz. They're not allowing people in. They're not allowing state representatives, even though they're supposed to legally be allowed in. They're not allowing immigration lawyers. They're not allowing human rights groups in, because their argument is this is a privatized center. This is privatized. So
yeah, which doesn't hold up legally at all.
There's no transparency. Yeah, exactly. And the numbers I have here is these operators typically are paid per detainee per day between $120 to $200 per person. And I've seen it even higher. I've seen it up to $400 or $500 per person, depending on where the facilities are, meaning that a single 1,000-bed facility could generate tens of millions of dollars a year.
Yep.
So that's why the head of CoreCivic was literally threw a party when Trump was elected.
Yep. It's Let's take a look. So they are doing a hearing now. I mean, this is all happening so slowly. Obviously, Democrats are a disaster. They're taking money from all the same people who are involved in this, the surveillance, the the housing places, the private prisons, all that kind of stuff. They are having some hearings. This was from Marimar Martinez, who was shot. I think she was shot either 5 or 7 times and survived. So she was giving testimony. I think this was this morning. It might have been yesterday.
As my attorney showed the court the disgusting text messages Exum sent to his fellow Border Patrol buddies, literally bragging about how many times he shot me, I got sick to my stomach, seeing how a federal law enforcement officer would talk this way about shooting me, a woman who he swore into. Was both eye-opening and heartbreaking. Thankfully, I survived Exum's attempted murder of me and was able to shine a light on his lies. But what about all the others who either did not survive or were not fortunate enough to have videos proving the agent's lies? I know deep down this was God's purpose in having me survive Exum 5 bullets. It was for this moment to happen so that the world could see these text messages, which were a window into the soul of the USA Border Patrol at this critical time in our country's history.
Is it true?
Oh, sorry, there's a second part to
Is
this.
it true that in the body cam footage, the CBP officer told you to, and I'm so sorry for saying this, the officer told you to, quote, do something, bitch, before he fired?
Yes.
It's disgusting, shameful, and it gets worse. Ms. Martinez, these are images of texts sent by the agent who shot you. And they're actually disturbing to read, but I think it's important for the public to see this. The agent linked an article about your shooting and texted, read it, 5 shots, 7 holes. I fired 5 rounds and she had 7 holes. Put that in your book, boys. Oh, well, it is what it is. Shit happens. This is someone that works for the United States government. I fired 5 rounds and she had 7 holes. Now, he was talking about you, and it's our understanding that he was actually bragging about his aim shooting an unarmed American citizen. Is that right?
Correct.
So, the other part of all of this, there's so many parts, is the heightening of the cruelty and the bragging about the barbarism. And I think, for a lot of us, these past 2.5 years of watching a genocide be played out, people documenting their own genocide, but also Israeli soldiers documenting the terror that they are inflicting on, 2 million plus people, actually more, because also obviously the West Bank. But so that, when I heard that, it felt so much like those despicable T-shirts that some IDF soldiers wear that say 1 shot, 2 kills with a pregnant woman on it. What about the training? Like, when did the training with IDF, how do you sort of merge those two and see that cruelty being heightened?
Well, one thing that I do want to point out is that when we were listening to that, what was specifically being covered there is that was Customs and Border Patrol again. That wasn't ICE. Those are 2 separate organizations that work in tandem and together. So, this wasn't a quote unquote new Trump hire undertrained in 47 days, it was CBP again. Their training, the thing is that like the JINSA program, and that's what it's called, the JINSA program, it doesn't get into detail, but they train specifically Department of Homeland figures, it states on the website, which includes the umbrella of ICE, CBP, general DHS employees, as well as a tremendous amount of U.S. police forces. And what they do is they have them come on the ground, work and watch the checkpoints, and a lot of these checkpoints are ran by an organization called UG Solutions, which Anthony Aguilar has been on here and talked about quite a bit.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of U.S. private contractors will work those, and sometimes those contractors go and will leave that job and then go work for the CBP or ICE or vice versa.
Yep.
So there's a lot of crossover there. So like they get kind of training from these black ops organizations that are running and doing the apartheid tactics, and they're on the ground, and they call it quote unquote anti-terrorism education. So they come and they will watch how the ITF handles a protest, for instance.
Right.
So we think about
Right.
Shalene Abulake and how they during her funeral, the IDF soldiers came and the ITF were knocked her casket on the ground. We see how they treat their protesters, and then we see our police using those exact tactics, not even slight parallels, but those exact tactics now within the United States. But then there's also funding for gear, there's trading of intelligence, gear, intelligence programs, the AI programs we've talked about a lot, and I know you guys have covered a lot. The same AI programs are now being utilized in order to take pictures of us and label us as terrorists if we're out at these protests. So all of that, the amount of overlap is crazy. But if you think about it, they're actually on the ground working with those psychopath ITF soldiers,
Right.
and bringing those practices back here.
Yeah, it all the parallels are just so clear to what's happening in Gaza to me, with the detention centers, not letting in the press, not letting in our own politicians to recover. Like, if you can't let press see what's going on, you're doing something unscrupulous. Like, and the fact that our press isn't up in arms every night on TV saying we want to visit the ICE centers shows their complicity, which is, they're connected as well to Israel and the propaganda. So they won't call for it.
Mm-hmm. And what, I don't know if you remember, but when RFK Jr. was running, I think it was when he was no longer running as a Democrat, but then he was an independent. Wasn't there like a in between before he started?
There was a window.
Yeah. And he was talking about how, the border bill, that draconian fascist piece of legislation that Kamala and Biden tried to push through. And he was like, yeah, I don't know about that, but what we should really do is model how we control our borders the way Israel controls its border. Treating people who want to be here as terrorists, as enemies of our country. Like, that is a wildly different approach from the way we used to talk about people who were trying to come to our country as immigrants. The other thing in these detention, so the AI tech, which is disgusting to look at, and of course now they're doing it, in Gaza with the Rafah border crossing and the way they're going to set it up. But the ability to, like, all of the capturing our facial recognition, that's illegal. That they keep doing that to anybody they detain. They want to have a register of all of us here. Where are all the people who are supposed to stop this? Nobody seems to be doing anything at all. Like, the money they are getting from all of these different billionaire companies are like, they are a danger to the world, actually. What do we do? What do you think we do? I mean, okay, let's just take it back to 2018 when you were working with squad members and brand new Congress. And what happened to that energy and those politicians, do you think?
Well, we had, what was it, 120 people sign on to abolish ICE that were in Congress at the time. We had the Progressive Caucus supporting it. You even had Kamala Harris like talking about, repealing the DHS and when she ran in 2020, if you guys remember. But as soon as, and you had people like Tulsi Gabbard acting like she supported it. And then you had, as soon as Obama won, or not Obama, I'm so sorry. As
Biden,
soon
yeah.
as Biden won, crickets, completely abandoned. Even the organization I worked for before they let me go, BNC themselves, started shifting right and started turning into corporate Dems, because this is where we are. We have to endorse John Fetterman. And I was like, but John Fetterman took APAC money, dudes. Like lots and lots of APAC money. And we had never had a single candidate that took APAC money. We had always stood against it. And they're like, Zeynab, time's changing. It's just changing. So everyone kind of shifted on this idea that Bernie was sort of like a bust, right? And that a lot of people did, and what has to happen is we have to get in line behind, this more moderate stance, which is very ignorant. But to what we can do, one of the first things they can do if they get in 2026, or they can push for now, is to repeal the damn Lake and Riley Act. That's the latest thing that they passed.
Yep.
The Lake and Riley Act is what gave all this runway for Trump to do this shit. It allows for people to just be arrested based on racial profiling.
Yep.
It allowed for people to be detained whether or not they had been convicted of a crime, right? Just under suspicion of a crime.
Yep.
It mandated that police forces work with DHS and ICE. It also said that, the act power state attorney generals can sue the federal government over immigration enforcement if they feel like, they want the government to come and give them more enforcement. They can call for that. Resource misallocation. So the bill diverts DHS resources away from investigating serious crime and toward mandatory detention, increased detention capacity, and cost without demonstrable public safety benefits. So instead of, and that's one thing that some seasoned FBI agents and stuff have been complaining about, because they said our resources are now pooled and we can't investigate child sex trafficking.
Right.
We can't investigate the sex trafficking. We can't investigate the serious crimes because they're now, everything's pulled to pull like an Abuela working at a cookie shop
Right.
into alligator Alcatraz.
Right. So,
Sorry.
No, it's true. Yeah. And I mean, a lot of Democrats
voted for this.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Yeah.
Democrats.
Yeah. I think this is one of the reasons that they clawed back so quickly any COVID protection or benefit that we were all getting at the beginning of COVID, because it is, once people get a real taste of it and adjust to it, it's very difficult to go backwards. And we see that with every horror show, any funding for the worst policies or the Patriot Act or the surveillance state, those never get clawed back. But the second they felt like we got anything good, we're pulling back from. But all those Democrats who voted for the Lake and Riley Act, I still think that the people in power, well, first of all, of course, they're on the same payroll as Republicans at this point. They're all getting money from the same, that's a structural issue. And the billionaires or the donors or the whatever are very aware that whoever's in power, they win. So it will, the thing that has been giving, I think, us so much hope is seeing people out on the streets, because our representatives are doing nothing. It's the people on the streets who are actually fighting back. But it's very depressing. And I'm sure for you, who was such a big part of Brand New Congress and those, incoming, oh my gosh, that we're going to change things kind of politicians, I am sure you, and I know from our personal conversations, how devastating that is, because we've all had a lot of that, but you actually had a hand in helping them rise to power. And what a betrayal.
It's depressing. But, I remember booking candidates with you guys to interview in 2017. So you guys were right there with it. you know, and platforming what needed to be talked about as far back as then. And so, you know, I think there's so many of us that feel like that. But
Yeah.
I worry, and Pat, this is something I think that you talk about a lot, and I've heard you too, Lila, but I worry about midterms, and as we get closer and closer to midterms, that the blue, no matter who, they're already out gaslighting us.
Yep.
You know, I'm seeing the K Hive. I don't know about you guys,
Yeah.
but the K Hive were out in force this week gaslighting us. Biden's economy was better. You know, immigration is a problem. We need to mass deport. We just need to do it a little bit nicer. They're really trying to temper down on things, and they're you know, actually telling us that we can vote our way out of it at the same time that a general strike is starting to pick up steam.
Yep.
And I think
That's
that's very intentional.
That's right.
It is, and
you're right.
I think if you aren't disillusioned right now with, you know, electoral politics, you haven't paid attention. But what happens every midterm, it's the same thing. The people we think we got close to our opinion and they're understanding, they get fear-mongered back into just leave it to blues to save us. I think a lot of the things that have happened in the last 2 years have disavowed a lot of people of that. So I think we're going to have more people not just thinking, yeah, let's get some Democrats. We're going to have more people saying, let's get some Democrats. And they'll say, you got to vote for them, even though they're not going to save us, which is fine. I don't, you know,
We'll push them
I don't care if you vote
left.
for the best option. I don't care, but you better do more. You can't think that's a solution.
Yeah.
That in itself is like, you know, giving $5 to a local charity or something.
I don't want to see your stupid "I voted" sticker if that's what you do.
Yeah, you're buying a
Your civic
$25 lawn sign is not saving people.
Yeah. All right, ma'am, you're amazing. The article is fantastic. If you are not already subscribed to Bullhorn Bulletin, please do. Can you tell people where to find you?
Yes, and just to let you know, and I didn't tell you guys this before the show, I'm sorry. I just wrapped up an article detailing the ties between, I've been working on it for 2 weeks. I've got 2 more coming out. But this one is the one that's coming out in the morning. Will be detailing how the IDF is so tied to the DHS, and about the Imperial Boomerang, and kind of lays out what the GENSA program is and how it's tied to like our policing and how it's escalated in the last 2 years. And then the second article I have coming out has the ties between Venezuela, Somaliland, which is actually Somalia, Venezuela, Argentina, who else? We also Uganda. There's 7 different countries right now. At Greenland, they're all tied together because they all have rare earth minerals that these tech bros want to get their hands on with this new Cold War with AI.
Yes.
Because China has an 80% hold on this market. They do their own imperialism. I don't defend China on this because they are imperialistic when it comes to these rare earth minerals and how they're seeding the genocides in Sudan and Congo. So not great, guys. We shouldn't whitewash China's involvement in that stuff.
Absolutely.
But these countries that right now we're targeting and bombing for a multiple amount of reasons, or we're doing regime changes in, or whatever it might be, almost every single one of them have rare earth minerals or speculatory rare earth minerals. And that's really what this is all about. So I have an article coming out about that as well. And you can find it at bullhornbulletin.com on Substack, or most of you guys know where I'm at on Twitter. I'll be posting it there. But
well, I can't wait because yes, we have talked about that on, I mean, we've mentioned it, but you're doing your deep dive. So we would love to have you back to talk about that as well. What a world. Oh my goodness. We so appreciate the work you're doing. We love having you on, and seeing your sparkly Christmas tree brings me joy.
Merry Christmas, Zeynab.
Yeah. Let's have a happy new year. We will work to make this world a better place.
Yes, we will. And I love you guys. I respect Punch Up Pod so much. You know that. So it's beyond how much I love you personally. I love the work that you're doing. I'm so grateful for you guys. And you guys help to keep me informed. I would be a little lost if it wasn't for this show. So,
well, right back at you, sister. Thank you so much.
Many cheers.
Cheers. Good night, guys.
Good night. Thank you. She's so awesome. And, it is such an enormous task to try to just, like, in one article, only tackle sort of one part of it. I mean, she goes off onto lots of different bits, but like it really, that the article that she wrote that, was just released a few days ago, last week, is a really great sort of like foundation for where we are. But I'm thrilled that she's going to do the Israeli aspect of it and also the big tech aspect of all of this.
Yep.
Amen. All right. We have a couple of super chats that we just want to say before we get to our cheers. Big Dumb Animal, you know how much I love saying your name out loud. BDA, thank you so much.
BDA,
Another
cheers.
show. It's going to make you angry. Cheers. We do our best. We need to talk about it. I appreciate all you three do. Thank you. And to Zeynab also, thank you. And 2F salon sign libs are a joke. I agree. Cannot stand them. Thank you for your super chat. Thank you.
Amen. Thank you.
All right. You want to do cheers or you want to do a window?
You know what?
Let's do the wheel
I skipped
first.
our cheers. You want to do the wheel or window?
Oh, I don't know. I was giving it to you because,
Let's do the cheers. I have to let my cat in, so you
Okay.
can take it from here.
Okay,
You
okay.
got this.
All right, I got this. Okay, so this just happened, I think this morning or last night. Oh my gosh, it's very small here. 1 second. I'm taking your comments off so I can see. Sorry. Okay. Palestine action activist Jordan Devlin, Charlotte Head, Zoe Rogers, Samuel Corner, Leona Kamia, I think, and Fatima Zeynab Rajwani posed for the camera the night before they smashed up an Elbit arms factory in August 2024 as part of the Filton 24 Defense Committee. 6 Palestine action activists who broke into an Israeli arms factory in the UK have been acquitted or not convicted of all charges against them. This is reporting by Asa Winstanley of the Electronic Intifada. And this was a huge victory for them. So let's just take a look at how they were greeted. So they were beaten by the guards when they were trying to disable these quadcopters. They were arrested on site in August 2024 and held on remand for 17 months. They were the first of a total of 24 defendants to face trials relating to the invasion and smashing of a factory in Filton near Bristol in the west of England, owned by the subsidiary of Elbit Systems, which is Israel's largest weapons manufacturer. Some of these prisoners, some of the 24 are prisoners who recently went on hunger strike. Once they were inside Elbit, they destroyed Israeli quadcopter drones, which have been used frequently to massacre Palestinians in Gaza. During the trial, acquitted defendant Fatima Zeynab Rajwani, a third-year film student at the time of the action, was open that "I damaged drones, which is what I went in to do." She commented on video footage shown to the court saying, "That is me dismantling a quadcopter drone with a crowbar," and explaining that the group wanted to document the presence of quadcopters and Elbit's crimes. And since then, Palestine Action has been prescribed as a terrorist organization. That's the one that people get. If you say out loud that you support them, you're deemed a terrorist in the UK. And 2 of the members of the 24 at least are, close to death for the hunger strike. I don't know what's happening now that some have gone to trial and been released. But I think it was an 8-day was it either, I think it was an 8-day trial that has just finished. So congratulations to them and cheers, but geez.
Yeah, and look, if these people can get off on their crime, which they openly admitted to doing largely, it shows that going to a protest isn't a crime. Like, these people put their skin in the game and are continuing, some of them, to participate in the hunger strike. And we can all do more. So do what you can. But kudos to these people. Justice in a rare case, although 17 months in jail is not justice.
17 months.
But I hope there's some there. Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking that you could sue the government, but you're not going to win that case against in this instance. But good for them. I mean, good for fucking them.
Yeah.
Amen for us seeing a win for somebody doing something that we all should do. I mean, stop anything you can do to stop what's going on.
Just the idea that destroying property can get you into jail for 17 months, supporting them can get you hauled off to jail, but doing a genocide or be an open proponent of genocide is just another day at the office. It's unbelievable, just disgusting. But yes, cheers to them. Absolutely cheers to them. I need to refill my glass, so let's get going on the wheel.
You haven't even spun the wheel.
Come on. All right, yeah. I don't know why I was even waiting. Like, I wasn't gonna refill my glass anyway.
I'm supposed to push the button.
That's
what
you,
the
baby.
fuck? Let's see. What do we got? We got let's go with this one. This is a whole bunch of mixed clips. I didn't know what to do with them.
I used to be the guy in charge of coming up with all the words. All right, we're looking for something for kind of fussy, particular, controlling, anal. Anyone else? Anybody else? Anal. Come on, guys. Hello. Come on. I think it should be anal. We're not. We already used that for something else. All right.
Wait, say that again.
Anal.
Ah, there's something there. It's cool, it's hip, it's anal.
It's not supposed to be cool and hip. It's supposed to be fussy and controlling.
Let it be anal. We're not doing anal today. Look at you. You're fussy. You in control of this room? You's an anal boy.
All right.
You anal. All right.
And now, global politics in 30 seconds.
Hey, Jane, what you doing?
Oh, just wondering if we'll ever rise up against the rich.
Huh, do you want to sing a song about it?
Sure.
We are poor,
They are not.
they got money.
And we got squat.
Let's rise up against the rich.
Burn their houses to the ground.
Let's rise up against the rich.
And put their heads on pikes in town. That felt good.
That cartoon of the United States just destroying the world was, my smile disappeared. I was laughing and then I was like, God damn it. Yes, that's what's happening.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. That's very funny. And I have my second glass of wine. So I'm going to try and put that smile back on my face.
Yeah. But kudos for Bob's Burgers getting it.
Yeah.
That's, I love them for that.
That is, yeah, I totally agree.
Right.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. What the fuck, indeed. Okay, let's just not leave ICE yet, because there were actually, there's horrible stuff happening. Of course, there's a measles outbreak at that Dilley detention center in Texas. They're stopping their activity of importing and exporting people from those cages. And, just as a reminder, to the Bari Weisses and the people who look at Palestinians and say, oh, well, they had an underlying condition, and so that's why they're starving or have scabies or whatever. Anne Frank was not murdered by Nazis. She died of typhus. So, if that's the game you want to play, it's revolting. It's the conditions that the Nazis created. And we are creating these concentration camps where 100 people are shoved into one cage with a toilet in the middle with almost no privacy. Sometimes men and women are put together. Their food is, maggot infested, or it's all just like sugar and junk, nothing fresh. They're not getting medicine. They are taking turns who can lie on the ground, on the cement. There's no bed. So there's not enough room for everyone to lie down. They have to take turns. It is so reprehensible, but these are the conditions that lead to mass death. They are also, by the way, gassing people. They are shooting chemical agents into people's faces at parks. Children, like little kids, are getting sprayed in the face with chemical agents.
Why did you bring your terrorist kid out? You know, why did you bring your terrorist kid out to protest?
Yep.
And all this is so much like what's happening in Gaza. You know, we have a ceasefire. The gaslighting is just amazing. God. We have a ceasefire. Since the ceasefire, not even getting the starvation and the people, 500 plus people have been bombed. You know,
there's not been a single day
weaponry. You know, that's in a ceasefire.
Yep.
And you know, something like 100 of them almost are kids. You know, and so what's the future for this whole population? I mean, we're looking at, they're just funneling it down to where leaving the country to go to Egypt or something is somehow good. We got the Gaza, we got the
Rafah
crossing the Rafah crossing open. Well, we're not even getting into Israel yet, but the Rafah crossing is open, but that's irrelevant. It's so few.
Well, I think they let 5 people in a day, and you have to go through hours of just degrading. I mean, it's all about degradation and being cruel to people. It's horrific.
And at the end of the day, no matter what you say, we can't believe you if you don't let the press in, right? So step one is let the press in, and then make your arguments about how kind you are to people.
Yeah.
But if you can't do that in Israel, Palestine, or ICE, you are not upholding the moral standards we expect of society.
100%. So just to quickly whip through some of these statistics, more than 6 times rise in ICE detention of children under Trump. Like, I don't want anybody ever in a cage. Putting children in a cage? According to the Marshall Project, an average of 170 children are held in ICE detention under the Trump administration every day. Under Biden, it was an average of 25 children a day. This is the measles outbreak at the Texas detention facility. The chemical spray.
Just a reminder, measles was gone. Like, thank you, RFK Jr., for the measles.
We had eradicated it.
Gone.
And now we have, it spreads.
We're openly
and you know,
locking it up and spreading it in Nazi prison camps.
And you know, that's the other thing. I do not understand these people who don't get the concept that it's like, you know, a smoking section on a plane. And yes, truth, TB is coming back. Also, whole milk and raw milk.
As I like to call it, shit milk.
Yeah.
You buy your shit milk.
Yeah.
Really.
That's what it is. I mean, it is so crazy. Okay. So that is all horrible. I'm positive, but to see the way some people are fighting back, not this guy.
ICE agents should conduct themselves like every other law enforcement agency in the country, as opposed to running around mass thugs, in many instances, unleashing brutality on law-abiding American citizens.
Real finger on the pulse. That's what
that literally is. That is how cops operate.
Yeah.
So that's where you're wrong there. Obviously, you fucking piece of shit.
I mean, just despicable, totally despicable. But let's watch how people are showing up in communities, because this is inspiring and it's happening more and more. They are, okay, this was in LA, barricading in, and you know, we say ICE because we're being lazy and not finding out if it's CBP or ICE or DHS or cops, whatever. To me, they're all the same. Defund them all, abolish the whole project. So, but I know that's lazy. It's not to exonerate the other agencies. It's just a catchier phrase. But anyway, so the Gestapo getting barricaded in by protesters in LA.
comes the kick. Here comes the kick. Get him. Oh.
I love it. The police coming in with all their gear against the boxes.
Losing to the box.
Battering ram against the cardboard box. Okay, so that's one. Here are some agents trying to enjoy a little Mexican food. Why can't an ICE agent enjoy a little Mexican food at the local restaurant in Minneapolis?
You fucking bitch! You fuck out of here! Get the fuck out of here! Fucking home! Go fucking home! Get the fuck out of our neighborhood! Get the fuck out of our neighborhood! Get the fuck out of our neighborhood! Fuck you! Send you on out, you fucking Nazi! Get the fucking Nazi! Get the fuck out of here! Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you! Get the fuck out of here! You fucking Nazi! Get the fuck out of here! You fucking bitch! Let him out!
So
Chinga la
love
migra.
that. Chinga la migra.
Immigrants make America great. Like, I don't care about immigration at all. Everyone here, they are immigrants commit less crime. So let's just start with that. And I love all the variations in food. I love the variations in culture. I love it all.
And even if you're like an economic hardliner, they actually contribute to our economy more than they take. This was just from the Cato Institute. They published a report providing the first look at the fiscal effects of the wave of legal and illegal immigration over the last 3 decades. It shows immigrants created surpluses every year by a combined $14.5 trillion, even as the country's deficits grew. They are a net benefit on every level. And yes, I agree with you. Like, I don't need to know what the financial impact is.
Yeah, I don't care at all. But you know who benefits the most from immigrants? These rich fucks who hire immigrants to do everything.
Yep.
They're nannies, they're chefs, they're in the fields, they're, you know.
Yep.
Nothing bad comes from these people who don't want to get caught breaking laws. They are the kindest, most giving, generous people I've met, especially from Mexico.
I mean, and listen, you know, I am always a little concerned about doing like, and sorry, this isn't like model minority stuff, because I'm always like, oh, like, but even if some of them aren't so nice, or there are criminals like in every other population, like, deal with those specific crimes.
Yeah, of course.
Right? Like,
crimes are crimes.
Yeah. But yes, as you said, they are, as a group, way less criminally, you know, they are trying to do everything by the law because they don't want to get caught. So statistically, they commit fewer crimes than legal Americans.
Absolutely. And yes, you know, everyone should get a living wage, and it sucks that these people are making less for jobs and whatnot. But in an affordability crisis where everything is crazy expensive, if they are willing to take this unagreed upon contract to be here and make less wages to try to build their family up, like, let's find a way to make them more money. Yes. But also, like, it's benefiting everyone. at the end of the day.
I'm not signing on to that, Pat.
No, I'm not saying I want the cheap labor, but
I just feel
your
like if you go down that
every
aisle,
argument you try to make against them is not logical,
right,
at all.
Yes, 100%. 100%. But yes, everyone should be paid a living wage. And just because they would make less back home than they do here when you give them, 5 cents a strawberry basket or whatever the hell, they should be getting the living wage here because they're just humans like everybody else.
Yeah.
I know you agree with that, but that's one of those arguments where I feel like I just don't want to give any quarter to people who are cruel and want to exploit people at all. But I understand what you're saying.
I get that, but I don't want any argument against immigrants.
Yeah.
Like if they want to be here making the wages that aren't right and you're against that even. You know what I mean? Like it's just kind of like what's
like she wanted me to hit her.
No, I get that. I'm not I'm just saying at their worst, they're still economically helping. They're not harming us. We're not less safe. They're better for the economy.
Yes.
They add to the richness and depth that is fucking what America is allegedly based on, other than colonialism.
They're people.
Like,
yes, they are people. Exactly. I mean, okay, so this is insane. This MAGA guy jumps out of his truck, starts pummeling some of the students who were doing the walkout. I think they were protesting ICE. I think this is from Friday. Different videos have come out. This one starts almost at the point where the guy actually starts the attack, because on the right, they were showing this video, but they didn't start it until the guy's getting his ass kicked by the kids. Like they just out of nowhere started beating him. So this is the kids are all right. So he came out and just started hitting one of the protesters, and then her friend.
Yeah.
I mean, that's solidarity. I inject that into my veins every fucking day. Gets out of to beat on a kid. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
No, piece of shit. Beat the hell out of him.
Yeah.
Like literally, go ahead. You have my full blessing, obviously. But
it
just reminds me, like 2 weeks ago here in Sacramento, and I didn't follow this story when it happened, didn't know much about it, but I recently have tapped into a local organizer who's supporting a lot of this ICE stuff. I don't know him, but I'm gonna get to know him hopefully. But 2 weeks ago, 20 MAGA trucks, and Sacramento is very libby or left. It's not a MAGA town, right?
Right.
20 MAGA trucks, all in force, pulled up to an anti-ICE demonstration at an immigration center and pulled out baseball bats and beat the crap out of some people.
Oh my God.
So that just happened in my town and it didn't even make the news. I mean, I have to research. You can find some information on it, but like, that's here. That's this gang feeling entitled in California, in a liberal left, very blue, I would say.
Imagine if one Muslim did that. Imagine. Like, truly, what would happen? That is horrifying. Were people like, what happened? How did they get rid of him? Like, what happened?
There's injuries. Did
we lose you? Oh boy. Nope.
Yeah.
I
Back?
heard it. Yeah, you're back. You're back.
I don't really know the outcome. I mean, I looked it up just a second ago because I was like, oh, that
Yeah.
reminds me. Let me see what happens. Police continues to monitor demonstrations and responds to them when necessary, is what the department responded. So
They don't care because those like MAGA goons are just helping cops do the exact thing that they want to do. That's like a huge force. The other thing that's been happening that's really cool community wise are these barricades where they just, and it's not expensive. They set up, garbage cans, and it's all ways of peacefully slowing down the machine. And, it's like, I think some of these used to be like OSS or CIA tactics. It's like, getting an order wrong, giving a cop decaf instead of caffeine in the coffee, like anything that can like slow down the machinery is also helpful. Like we all have different parts to play, and these barricades, like, and what happens is the cops come, they take them down, and then they pop up somewhere else, and they can't get through. Do you belong in this neighborhood? But it's like community protection. It's a chair in the middle of the street, like makes it harder. And, it's not as exciting as seeing some MAGA chud get his ass kicked, but it's also effective. Like, now, that said, they will steamroll right through something and they don't care if they hit somebody, right? So, like, but I think all those tactics work in Congress. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Absolutely. Well, they need to know, A, that they're hated, that we don't want them, that you're doing an action that the public does not support.
That's right.
So, the more we all are in the fight against it, visibly, publicly, openly, at your dinner party, you're talking to the MAGA folks, like, I fucking hate that you support this shit. If there's a MAGA person.
Yeah.
I mean, just the more of that we have and slow them down. And that's, the mask thing is really big, because if you allow these people to just hide their identity forever, like once you take that mask off, these people are going to have more consequences. And that's the fight that Democrats, if they really wanted to put a stop to this, they would fight the hardest. They would not compromise on that fact.
Yeah. Well, I think I maybe pulled the wrong or different video from the one I was remembering from that Mexican restaurant, but they're off duty, right? And there's one that's closer up. And then, of course, they're not wearing masks because they've just gotten chased out of a restaurant where they were eating. And one of the guys starts to like come at the woman who's yelling at him. And I think and maybe I'm reading too much into it, but I think that possibly the fact that he realized, I'm like, now I'm visible because he was off duty. He was like, because it does come with some impunity. It's the whole reason that they wear those masks, so they're not easily identifiable, right? So they're going to get something at some point.
I mean, we report just how disgusting these people are. We reported on it 2-3 weeks ago or whatever. The ICE group that went and ate at a restaurant and then arrested them all at night. Like, you fucking pieces of shit.
It's also so revealing that obviously they're not arresting people they think are dangerous to the community, because they wouldn't be sitting in the restaurant there if that were the case. Like, if you think that this person is, some rapist, gang member, narco terrorist, whatever the hell they lie about and say, you don't sit in the restaurant calmly and then wait several hours to come back. Like, that's not the way you do that. It is so cruel and disgusting to treat people like that. Like, I like your food, serve me, and now I'm gonna, put you in a cage.
And the thing we always talk about, the most important thing that's obvious to everybody, is that there is no purpose for any of this. None of it is safety. None of it is tell me the purpose of this other than the fake safety element, the fake we're getting the criminals out, the fake we got to follow laws. As we see, we're not following laws even in relation to ICE.
Yeah.
So if this is a legal thing, then why can't we go look at where you're keeping these people? So this is not a legal thing. Oh, LA won't enforce the federal ban on masks, not, having to wear a mask. LA will not. So this is about laws, but these guys are going to come in and break the law while they're enforcing the law. So it's all just a scapegoat to fucking support some bullshit right-wing agenda. I mean, both parties we always talk about, but it's being heavily, it's all being done with a heavy hand because Trump has no support left.
Yeah, but which makes it even more maddening and disgusting and cruel that Democrats, the party of opposition, refuses to fight this. I mean,
you can't fight Palestine. You can't fight it when Palestine comes to roost here for our own people, your alleged base,
yeah, it's gross. This was a piece of, slight good news. The 2 federal immigration agents who fired on Minneapolis protester Alex Preddy are identified in government records as Border Patrol agent Jesus Ochoa and Customs and Border Protection officer Raimundo Gutierrez. I will leave that there, but there is a lot to unpack in those names, right? Like, that's really disgusting. It's disgusting because they are hurting people who are in part of their own community. It's how I feel when I see, Stephen Miller or Jonathan Greenblatt, talking about
in the name of Jewish,
right? Like, and wanting that, there is a special level of repulsion I have for people who betray the people who they say that they're part of, it's gross. Anyway, we have another super chat, and then maybe we should spin again before we move on to more grossness with Epstein. Citizen Vendejo, thank you. 1 of 2, screw Elon, throttling punch up pot harder than my man Matt Weinglass. What Elon doesn't know is we're passing coded messages to each other. I love it. Oh boy, let's get into those coded messages. Thank you, Vendejo. 2 of 2, my request. Yeah.
Wait, does that mean, is this some Antifa stuff? Are we like am I the vice secretary of Antifa or something?
I don't know, but Jake GTV, he's the white supremacist guy. So, that's not my guy, but thank you for the super chat, Vendejo. I appreciate it very much.
Yeah.
Okay, let's spin and move on because I need another glass.
Yeah, baby.
Oh, that's always a good one. How have we not landed on? All right, Pat, are you choosing it?
Okay, yeah, the other one's educational. I don't want educational. No. So we'll go with this one, which is the Trump Elon rom-com.
Donald, what if I told you we can start a new life, you and I? Leave this world behind us, and we can move to Mars. Yeah.
Which one is Mars again? Is it the red one or the candy?
The red one, Donald. The red one. Imagine red rocks everywhere. Desolate, devoid of life. We can have a family there. Me, you, hashtag baby, Don Jr., baby X, Baron, Griffin, Eric, Kai, Tiffany, R2D2, MS-DOS, 392 $72N_dash at symbol.
Hello, is this McDonald's? I'd like to order a Big Mac.
3.141592654.
And a French fry.
I mean, everyone would be there.
And a small toy.
It would be a red wasteland. But we'd have love.
All right, we get the picture, weirdo.
Let's go. Let's run away.
But can we have fun all the time?
All the time. You are one crazy bastard, Elon, and quite frankly, that's what I like about you, and I like you a lot. You're very sexy also. Let's do it. Let's run away.
You're not going to regret this. I actually have my rocket parked outside. Yeah.
Yeah, you go in first. Oh yeah.
Wow, it's so incredible in here. Really spacious. I love Tesla. Leather seats.
Look up
This
there.
is amazing.
I'm the emperor now. Emperor of the United States of America.
Elon, where are you? Why aren't you coming? Elon, you tricked me. Now I'm gonna be an illegal immigrant on Mars.
All right, not that funny, but
How much more do we have to see of these awful people?
I mean, one day look, I got more bad news to report. Mitch McConnell's not dead yet. He's apparently bedridden, but he might be
he's
surviving
bedridden
it.
Yeah,
and
I'm sure they'll pump him full of something.
we should have a breaking news show where we just bust on and we're live. Mitch McConnell dead. Let's just show cat videos.
Sitting outside of his hospital room praying.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move into Epstein stuff. More and more keeps coming out. This was an interesting week. We didn't cover some of the sworn testimony of people who were accusing Trump. There was quite a bit of it. One was from a 12-year-old. I personally witnessed defendant Trump telling the plaintiff that she shouldn't ever say anything or he would make her disappear like the 12-year-old female, and that he was capable of having her whole family killed. That's Tiffany Doe, a pseudonym. That's from 2016. There are so many different testimonies about him raping 14-year-olds, about threatening them, about being present when a young girl's baby was delivered and then thrown overboard. I mean, just the most cruel, horrific, horrendous things. And nobody's going after anybody for this. Like, we're just pretending that we can move forward in life like this. I don't like.
It's peak gaslighting. Like, there is no harder gaslighting than none of this means anything. All this stuff you're reading and all these vile allegations, and what they're doing is they're putting out this blanket sort of statement of like, well, we in an effort to be transparent, we release stuff that's false. We release stuff that was investigated and found to be nothing.
Right.
So here it all is. We're not going to give you the follow-up investigation. We're not going to give you, we're not going to release any pictures of any crimes. So we're not releasing anything where the kids were getting sexually, stuff. So we're not releasing any of that stuff. We're not releasing anything that's part of an investigation. And no, there's an investigation now into Trump. So we're not going to release. So that gives them cover to not release any of that. And they're also not complying at all with the law written. I mean, the bill passed explicitly demanding this stuff.
And it was supposed to, they were supposed to have released it all, a couple months ago. They're already late and they've only done half of it. I know, Ro Khanna and Thomas Massie have continued to be really vocal about it, talking about the Epstein Class. I think all of that is really important, but there just seems to be absolutely no consequences. And a little bit, I feel like all of it being thrown like this with all, there are searchable websites. There's actually one that it's as though you're in his Outlook account or Google. I don't remember. I bookmarked it. And you can search the database and then you can click through to the links. It's really well done, but it's 3 million files. There's a lot to go through. And it feels a little bit like the ceasefire. Like, there you go, we did it, and now we're not going to talk about it. Oh, it's a ceasefire, so we're not going to talk about the fact that people are still being slaughtered in tents. That's
and you got Patel out in front of the world saying there's nothing actionable in any of this, or we would be acting on it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, sure. We trust you,
But like,
And
they'll
Pam
also
Bondi,
like,
and-
yeah, Bondi, who has known Trump since she was one of his, Miss America contestants or whatever, when she was 14. And her AG, or deputy AG, Todd Blanche, who in his statement says, but we didn't release anything with child sexual assault material or torture or death, which means they have that evidence in there. This is Trump having an altercation with Caitlin Collins. Again, like, I hate that I'm even sort of defending her. Just like disgustingly rude. And then JD Vance talking about that with Megyn Kelly, just to get a lot of gross people all into one quick video.
Maybe get onto something else.
But what would you say to people who
like
feel like they haven't gotten
healthcare,
justice, Mr. President?
Something that people care about. Yeah, what did you say? Go
What
ahead,
would you
CNN.
say to
are
the survivors who feel like they haven't gotten
you are
justice?
the worst reporter. No wonder CNN has no ratings because of people like you. You know, she's a young woman. I don't think I've ever seen you smile. I've known you for 10 years. I don't think I've ever seen a smile
Well,
on
I'm
your
asking
face.
you about survivors of Jeffrey
You know
Epstein's,
why you're
Mr.
not
President.
smiling? Because you know you're not telling the truth.
He was talking to Caitlin Collins, who's the CNN anchor. And I have like a decent relationship with Caitlin Collins, which is unusual given that she's from CNN. But the president, she's asking a question. The president says, why don't you ever smile?
Yeah.
And it's actually like so perceptive. Even if you're asking a tough question, even if you take your job very seriously, like, why does it always have to be so antagonistic?
Well, I laughed because I saw online everybody was calling him sexist for saying that. And I literally said the same thing about Caitlin Collins a year ago on my show. She never smiles. Every once in a while, you have to smile. Roger Ailes used to tell us that. Every once in a while, you get remember to smile, show
Just
the viewers that you have a
Have
heart.
some fun,
Yeah.
right? Like, life, you can't always take yourself too seriously. You're going to have a heart attack. And that's too much of the Washington press corps.
That's their takeaway. That's their takeaway. We're gonna. Yeah.
That is just so insulting. These are journalists. I mean, I'm not. I hate to attribute that to her,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
she
yeah.
does journalism once in a while.
Yeah.
It's very propaganda and state
Yeah.
focused. But to make it about smiles and shit when we're talking, like, if you're smiling when asking me a question about the Epstein files, I got a problem with that.
How
Like,
insane would that be? Like,
that would be-
disgusting and
Yes.
disrespectful to the victims. Like, what? I mean, it's so, like, it's honestly, the
And
level of it is so dumb. It's just that is such a distraction. Like, we're going to talk about if a reporter smiles. What about the Epstein files and your being all over them and not prosecuting any of the other people? Like, what is the assessment from the FBI that it was just Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell doing everything to everybody? Like, that's what they want us to believe. Who are the perpetrators of the crimes?
That's what they want us to believe. But even the files they released show a charts of like who the people are and what tiers they are.
Yeah.
And those people are not in jail. So your own chart, you need to relay to us why we should not care about this. That needs to be a question. Why should we not care about this?
Right.
What happened with this? Who pursued this? Who was the head of the department that didn't do anything about this? Like that's where you go next. And the Democrats are, oh, we'll have a hearing in 2 months on this or something.
Yeah.
Like.
And didn't Megyn Kelly leave Fox because she sued during Me Too, but for sexual harassment from who's the guy who's like always crying, O'Reilly, and
no, Ailes, wasn't it?
Well, Ailes, I thought, I mean, he was the head of it. I thought, which is why I was like, what? She's talking about, oh, well, Roger Ailes used to tell me to smile. I thought she sued them for sexual harassment. And here she is diverting the conversation away from kids who were raped to talk about if Caitlin Collins smiles.
She's a self-interested piece of shit. Yeah. I mean, she rose to fame right as Trump rose to fame. And because of his popularity, she was when he called out for bleeding from her, whatever.
Yep.
Right. Remember that line? That was her. And she went from that to doing.
Wait, I don't know that it was. Are you sure?
It was Megyn Kelly.
Are you sure it wasn't? It wasn't the Joe Scarborough Mika. It wasn't. Okay, that's fine. I just
it was her. It was her.
Okay, that's disgusting.
She was the one who was bleeding by her, whatever. And here she is now doing Trump propaganda.
God, they're all so gross. Okay, so speaking of gross, this, I mean, it has long been asserted and understood that Epstein was working for Mossad on some level, right? Okay, the Run says you were right. Pat's right. Pat's right again.
The Runs is always right.
Okay, so this is from 2021. Mark Iverson, I don't know, writing to somebody, but basically he is talking about when he was in 1982, when he met Ghislaine, who she was, he was married, he wasn't gonna cavort with her, whatever. But then what he wants to point their attention to is a second black book that was found on the streets of New York is now reported on the internet. It has Ghislaine's siblings in England. And of course, she is one of the daughters of Robert Maxwell, publisher. Two of her sisters lead a company for the U.S. Department of Justice software. A backdoor to the software is suspected. We actually reported on this a few months ago. Robert was given a state funeral in Israel after his tragic death. I suspect Robert, Ghislaine, and Jeffrey were all Mossad agents trying to blackmail leaders in the political and financial world. Okay, that's one document. Here is another one. This is an FBI investigation. Okay, their CHS, Confidential Human Source, says Dershowitz influenced many students from wealthy families. John Kushner, Jared Kushner were both his students. Dershowitz told CHS, the Confidential Human Source, that if he were young again, he would be holding a stun gun as an Israeli intelligence Mossad agent. CHS believed Dershowitz was co-opted by Mossad and subscribed to their mission. Jeffrey Epstein was represented by Dershowitz. Epstein belonged to both U.S. and alleged intelligence services. CHS shared phone calls between Dershowitz and Epstein during which he or she, because, CHS, took notes. And these calls, Mossad would then call Dershowitz to debrief. Epstein was close to the former prime minister of Israel, Ehud Barak, and trained as a spy. Under him, Epstein was a co-opted Mossad agent. And one more, it's Epstein writing himself. And obviously he would say things and lie and whatever. And we showed the email exchange with him and Ehud Barak on our last show, where he's like, oh, you better tell, when he was going to Qatar, that I'm not a Mossad agent, LOL. But here he is saying that he represents the Rothschilds when he is talking to somebody, writing to somebody. So all of this, we have seen him setting Peter Thiel up with Ehud Barak, and then, Palantir getting huge contracts with the Israeli government and their spyware. There are pages and pages of his relationship with Israel. It is not being discussed at all in the media. Instead, they're doing this. Daily Mail. Epstein's sex empire was a KGB honey trap. Pedophile financier had multiple talks with Putin after conviction, with Russian girls flown in to harvest compromise on world famous figures. Here is The Sun, sinister secret, as FBI files reveal fake passports, secret recordings, and links to the KGB and Putin. Was Jeffrey Epstein a Russian spy? Here is The Telegraph. Epstein's links to Putin and Kremlin spies raise fear he was a Russian agent. Here is the New York Post. Emails reveal new theory about whom Jeffrey Epstein was really working for. Thousands of cryptic messages tying Jeffrey Epstein to Vladimir Putin have been discovered in the latest release of files. Listen, of course, wealthy people, I have no doubt that he was also doing stuff with the oligarchs in Russia. Of course he was. He was with anybody who had money, with somebody he would have dinner with and hand children off to rape, right? But that wasn't his project.
Yeah, connecting this to Russia, when you've got more clear proof that it's Mossad, you can connect them to Netanyahu, you can connect them to the Zionist project. I mean, it's all clearly Israel. And to this Russia thing is just it's just such propaganda. Russia, Is this how they sell it to the libs to let this stuff go? Is that the plan with all this Russia stuff we're hearing?
I really feel like we're getting a soft landing out of genocidal Israel. Like there's a ceasefire and look who the real bad guys are. Like, let's just really focus. I don't know. It's like,
yeah, you got to look at all the people that wrote every article that connects it to Russia and think, okay, those are the people we don't trust because they're clearly ignoring what's in front of their eyes. Yeah. They're lying to us. That's a straight up lie. It's not that you can't write an article saying there's a connection to Russia, because there's a connection to everything. And I was telling Lila before the show, you know, like I don't play video. I didn't play video games at all before. Like I kind of stopped a long time ago. But during the pandemic, I needed some sort of social and competitive thing. So I got back into playing Call of Duty. Call of Duty is connected to Jeffrey Epstein, who was telling the producers, the production people, the people behind Call of Duty, here's what you need to do. You need to addict people. You need to get kids hooked on it.
Yep.
And here's how you're going to do it. Here's how you're going to make kids your payday on getting people hooked on playing Call of Duty. Jeffrey Epstein, fucking a video game. Like that's the reach this fucking evil bastard have. So 1,000 emails to Russia or whatever, his mentions of Putin don't mean shit compared to all the clear connections to Israel.
I mean, the so clear connections to Israel, to the surveillance state. And by the way, Bitcoin. Yeah, go ahead.
No, but just while we're on this, I forgot this piece of it. He got banned from Xbox Live itself, which is their online. He wasn't allowed to play online himself because of they sent him an email that's like it lists every possible thing bad, but doesn't say specifically what he did.
Right.
But kids, he got banned for kids shit on Xbox is what it comes down to.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we are going to get into that part of it, but just to go to the project that these billionaires actually have, you know, and that's why, like, when people say like, oh, Israel owns us, I mean, I know you and I go back and forth on this, but like, if we understand it as our colonial outpost and the people who are supporting that heavily financially are also directing everything that our politicians do here. But what do those people want? Like we see the Middle East, what they really want is complete chaos. They want to, like Yemen, Syria, Libya, right? Like they want everything to be in chaos. And then to see, this is Epstein writing with Thiel, Brexit, just the beginning. Okay. That's in 2016. And Thiel says, of what? He says, a return to tribalism, counter to globalization, amazing new alliances. You and I both agreed zero interest rates were too high. As I said in your office, finding things on their way to collapse was much easier than finding the next bargain. This was a project. This is him talking with Ehud Barak. Wait, sorry. Oh yeah, thank you. So Jeet here, who writes for The Nation, what Epstein wrote to Thiel in 2016 lines up with what he wrote to his business partner Ehud Barak in 2014, with civil unrest exploding in Ukraine, Syria, Somalia, Libya, and the desperation of those in power. Isn't this perfect for you? In other words, social collapse is a business opportunity. Disaster capitalism, folks. Epstein was a fixer, someone who made money connecting different parts of the elite together. In this case, he was very interested in hooking up Thiel and Barak in the project of selling new surveillance tech to autocrat regimes. For this business project, breakdown of the global order was good. I mean, yes, I am sure, of course he was dealing with Putin and Russian oligarchs. He dealt with all oligarchs, but like Israel was his handler. That is where it started. Yeah. Robert Maxwell and Les Wexner, right?
Absolutely. But that's the thing we have to realize. Anything that happens that's chaotic, that changes the dynamic, whether it's a new industry with AI being there, like they all are like, they got their claws out. Like, how can I find some money in this situation? My friends are all going to get rich from this.
Yep.
And like a steady society where it's just like not based on every company has to fucking make a fuck ton more money every year for their stockholders. Like we have a society we created that will always end this way. Like
I mean,
So they're
that's
all just trying to get their
capitalism,
fingers on some money. They don't care about the ethical nature of any of it.
They don't care about any ethical anything. Their ethics is just money. That's it. Just make the most money and have some fun along the way. That is it.
Which is why this Epstein stuff is so important at the end of the day, because it connects all these people to just money. Like, even if you aren't on a log saying you fucked kids in the island, you were fine with being buddies with this fucking piece of shit for money. Like, are you kidding me? Everyone in your circle know those emails all show that regardless, he was joking about all this evil shit with all these fucking powerful people that all joked about his own pedophilia that they knew about.
I mean, his 50th birthday party book with everybody writing about, we know you like him young. We know what you like. She depreciated in value after she was with you, but then I got her. I mean, all of that stuff to be cutesy with somebody that you know. Like, it's not, young women. It's not like Leonardo DiCaprio, right? I hope so. I hope that's true. Reflect the Sun. It's not like, which I find kind of gross anyway, but like not illegal, fine. But like, Leonardo DiCaprio is never going to date somebody older than 26 or 25 or whatever. Okay. Gross. Different from she's 12 or 14 or she's wearing fucking floaties in the swimming pool. Like, that is different. And that was done with abandon and not privately. They all knew. So just before we get into some of that stuff, I mean, it's all that stuff, but like some of the connections. So this is who Trump just nominated to be the new chair of the Federal Reserve. This is Kevin Warsh, who's the son-in-law of Ron Lauder and former steering committee member of the Bilderberg Group. He also is, I guess he was on some fun boating expedition that they were all going to take down in Epstein's neck of the woods. He's right there with a bunch of other people. But, just to tie it in, here is his father giving a speech at the World Jewish Congress last week about free speech.
All world leaders, all politicians must lead in this effort. Words are not enough. Political speeches are not enough. Laws must be passed, severe, tough, real laws that will put these hate mongers away in prison for a long time.
Like, the idea that any of these people think that they have some moral rectitude in the midst of their crimes being exposed. He wants to do that in defense of a genocide that Israel is committing. That's why he wants to squash free speech.
Yeah, it's amazing. I don't even know what to say
fucking
anymore.
chutzpah.
They're showing all these extremely elderly people, and I think that's in an effort to remind people of like the survivors, because we all grew up with, in my school, they would always have a survivor come every year and show his tattoos. And, I'm not trying to minimize that, but they're manipulating that stuff.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
It's
and while they will cart off Holocaust survivors who are protesting this genocide. There are plenty of people who went through the Holocaust who are protesting what Israel is doing. There were people from the inception of the Zionist project who are Jewish, who said, these Zionists are acting like Nazis. They are terrorists. The Israeli project will go down the way the Nazi regime did. That's so funny. I hadn't thought of that. When I saw that, I wanted to because I was like, oh, just like this is the end of the world all in one room, like the most disgusting old people.
Well,
but yeah, you're right.
Did you catch that? Wasn't that that scumbag Pornhub guy in the background? One of those people? I think it was. What's the the Rabbi Schmaltz.
Oh, Shmuley?
Rabbi Shmuley. Wasn't he in the background there? I think he was in one of the
God,
pictures.
don't make me have to watch that again. Well, if he wasn't, he would have been.
I think it was Shmuley. Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to some of the really horrible things. Wait, I think this was one of his. Who is? Sorry, something I did not look up. Susan Hamlin. Anyway, okay, sorry. I give you permission to kill him. He is apparently with Olga. He lied to you and he lied to me. And Epstein writes back, whoops. She says, no one will lie to you and get away with it for me. No one. Whoops is correct. Okay. This is in a email that is sent to, I think this was sent after, this is in 2019. So this is after Epstein died. Edward, this is sensitive, so it will be the first and last email depending on your discretion. You can choose to take it or trash it, but this comes from a person that has been there and seen it all as a former staff at the Zorro. The material below was taken from Jeffrey Epstein home as my insurance in case of future litigation against Epstein. Sorry, no questions. What is damning about Jeffrey Epstein is yet to be written. Did you know where in the hills outside the Zorro, 2 foreign girls were buried on orders of Jeffrey and Madam G? Both died by strangulation during rough fetish sex. Here are the video footage of Jeffrey Epstein, and he links to 7 different video and audio links. Please arrange for 1 Bitcoin to the BTC wallet address. So Zorro, I think that was in New Mexico, which I hadn't even known that he had a ranch in New Mexico. And here's something crazy about that Zorro ranch. This is from 2009, for what it's worth. Some interesting facts that should be passed on to the investigative agent on the Epstein case. I will also copy Director Mueller. 1, Zorro Trust, belonging to Epstein, won an $80 million lottery ticket in New Mexico. What are the chances, guys? 2, Zorro Ranch, belonging to Epstein, sits close to the U.S.-Mexican border, where most trafficked children are rooted prior to being dispersed to East Coast. 3, several high-ranking officials and friends of Epstein have confirmed he has sexual relations with trafficked underage minors. 4, both Ghislaine Maxwell in New York and somebody were served last week. 2 key witnesses on Epstein's camp. Thank you, Conchita. So, in addition to the horrors that are being alleged here, this is where, and we're about to get to the Wayfair stuff because, the Pizzagate and the outlandish, conspiracy theory that was then debunked. And can you imagine? And they do, and QAnon, and they're all ridiculous, and all of these allegations of these conspiracy-minded freaks. And then you're like, wait, the Zorro Ranch won the lottery ticket? Why the fuck were they playing the lottery? You really think they were playing the lottery? You think that Jeffrey Epstein or one of his assistants won the lottery and then gave it to Jeffrey Epstein? Like if his assistant did it or something, but they won just out of the blue?
Yeah. And look, people are discounting that first email because it's someone trying to extort money. Well, it's scumbag city in his realm.
Yeah.
Right. So if you're not going to prosecute him because he's so powerful, you would probably die. I'm not saying you should extort him, but you can't, the guy, he presented links to evidence. So what happened with that? That's what I want to know. Who looked at that? Where is it? Can we see it?
Or could somebody at least
follow
comment
up on it? Can we hear your follow up on it?
Yeah.
Something.
Just smile. Could you just smile? It'd be nice if you smiled when we were talking about this.
Smile more. We're talking about the pedophilia.
Yeah. So that goes to, conspiracy of the system is all rigged. Nobody's really going to win the lottery. They just collected all this money from poor people because that's more often who plays the lottery, and then handed it over to their billionaire child rapist murderer friend. Excellent.
Which I have no doubt is exactly what happened.
Of course. It's just like a microcosm of our government. That's all it is, right? Just like rich people handing more money off to more rich people. Okay, so this is crazy, and you can go down so many rabbit holes. And the problem with AI now is it's really difficult to fact check anything. Every picture can be manipulated, and at my level of knowledge of technology, I can't go into the metadata and figure out like who created or when or dates. Like I don't know how to do that. So, and I think probably most people don't, right? So like it's very easy to say this is real or to dismiss something as a hoax or a conspiracy, you know, something crazy, right? So a few years ago, there was this allegation, I think this was maybe 2009, that Wayfair was actually trafficking children, and that so many of the children from these missing children's websites that were legitimate. I don't think anybody's saying that the missing children websites were not true. But then all of a sudden on Wayfair, which is sort of like, you know, cheap home goods, there are a few random prices of like a cabinet or a pillow that are going for thousands of dollars with sort of unusual names. And the names are matching up to some unusual names of children who have gone missing. The Yaritza storage cabinet, which sold for $13,000, $799, happens to be the same name as a missing young girl. Samaya is another very expensive storage cabinet. There's another lots of storage cabinet. Annabelle S. Shelf storage cabinet. There are lists of this. I mean, you can really go down a wormhole of all of the different, you know, again, then you have to like track, did Wayfair actually ever really sell that? Did this person ever come, like, you know, all of the different stuff. But in the Epstein files that were just released, here is one, and this is coming to his assistant. What is her name? Oh God, I can't see.
Karnia Shulik.
Yeah, Shulik. Yeah, his assistant. Oh, sorry, it's right there. Karina Shuliak. Yeah. So this, and she's sending this to him as proof that she purchased what he wanted, which is $8,453 to Wayfair for some product. And does it say the name of the product? No. Okay. But like, have you been on Wayfair ever? Like how many, and would Jeffrey Epstein buy things off of Wayfair? Like Wayfair is like Target online or even cheaper, honestly. Like, so you see something like this and that can take you for, you know, hours to even see like which parts of this are true. Wayfair says there was a lot of things when it first came out. I think it was in 2019 or 2020, and like Snopes and all these people were like dismissing it, just like Pizzagate, just like, you know, everything's dismissed. You're a big hoax, whatever. And now this was just released and people found it, and it's kind of like things aren't seeming so conspiracy theoried again, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Look, this could end up being Pizzagate shit.
Of course,
that's the caveat we have to add to this.
Yeah,
but it's also like, if you don't believe in some conspiracies at this point related to our government and power, look, this is an evidence trail I want an answer to. This isn't like we need to go investigate the pizza chain, bring our cameras in there. This is like, hey, this thing exists. Why the name match? Why the money? What? Somebody give me an answer. Give me a fucking answer.
What products on Wayfair are $9,000? Like what? And okay, so now in this whole realm, there was also last week a lot of attention that he was part of an organization, a satanic organization called Baal, B-A-A-L. And here is this document that was released where he is trying to get money that's supposed to be wired to him, and he gives his bank account information. And it says, sorry, I have to get really close. It says at the top line, so, you know, in the midsection, it says, please wire $11,438 from the above account to. And there are typos everywhere. And then there's also typos that are generated by the process of trying to scan all of these images into PDF. So he makes typos, but then there's also just sort of like some digital issues.
Typos.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So people saw it says BAAL name. Okay. So people were like, oh my God, look at that. He named his bank account Baal, which is the name of this satanic, child sacrifice ritual thing. But this, I do think, listen, I believe that he did everything that people are accusing him of doing to children. And he, we know that there are billionaires who talk about drinking their children's blood to keep themselves young. Like all of that is believable. But on this, I do just want to say that is likely a typo because it says Baal name, which is probably bank name, because then it says Wachovia Bank, the routing number, the account number, and then it does say account name, which is what people were accused, like they were inferring from this. Look, he named his account Baal, but that's not. The account name is One Clear Lake Center LLC. It's a limited liability corporation, right? So that's where all of these sorts of things, what they are doing is so horrific. And it almost feels intentional that everything's being released this way with all the typos, because
it is. It 100% is, because then they can Pizzagate it with the stuff that's not true. That, conspiracy. Trump's out in front of the public saying, wow, we should just drop this at this point.
Nobody cares anymore.
Nobody cares anymore. We put it all out there. And then his side gets to run with, he put it all out there. This is all silly now. Although I don't think too many of them are actually running with it. They get that this is, you got to be a true believer to think, look, even if I was a diehard blue, no matter who person, I'm like, if Biden's in the fucking thing, go after him. If Obama's diddled kids, I go after him. Anyone, follow it all. Go everywhere. Don't stop. Don't stop.
We're leftists. The person, in my mind, who was sort of like that was Noam Chomsky.
Yeah,
fuck him. Right? I don't need to protect his image.
And props to Norm Finkelstein.
Oh my God, love him.
Who is he's the only hero I've seen in this entire situation. In the whole thing, he said, "No, I won't meet that scumbag."
Get fucked.
I forget. Yeah, basically get fucked.
And he CC's Dershowitz on. We showed this, and I don't have it on me now. But
he criticized Dershowitz in it. He's like, "I won't."
But he was also CC'd in the reply.
Yeah, I didn't know he CC'd him.
Yeah, he CC'd him. He was like, these child rapists don't, they should be throttled. I'm not meeting with him. Yeah, as opposed to Chomsky, who, and okay, here's the other thing that's weird, and we're going to get to this when we thank you for show the Bill Gates stuff. What's his name? Who are we talking about? Sorry,
Chomsky?
No, sorry, Epstein. He would write things to himself. So this is what he is saying was written to him, was the advice from Chomsky. But this is, so that's where, if you were a diehard Chomsky person and he still is cavorting with him and Steve Bannon, so there's no excuse for any of that. But it does get a little weird that some of this that we're taking as, or that people are taking as fact about Chomsky. So in that letter, he's advising Epstein how to deal with all of the accusations being thrown at him. This, by the way, I think was in 2017 or 2019. 2019.
Yeah, so
he didn't die till 2019.
That's the problem is they, 2007 or 8 was
2008 was when he was first convicted. Yeah.
Yeah. So after 2008, you have no excuse to hang out with this guy. He's a fucking proven dirtbag.
Right.
And they all knew, they're all in the circles that already knew who he was. So
they knew who he was.
But now it was proven in public. So at that point, there's nothing.
Although, Dershowitz did that crafty, disgusting Weasley thing of doing a plea deal with Acosta, right? That they're only going to charge him for prostitution with one person. There were many accusers, but one that was part of the sweetheart deal, who was the oldest. She was 17 and a half. So that then it was, yes, she's underage. Yeah. She's 6 months away. And she was a prostitute. It's not rape. And, underage, but like, come on, there's some states where it's 16. So there was wiggle room to be like, poor
Right, but
guy.
that-
Like it was, yeah.
But that wiggle room, look, that was in the settlement, right? So, but if you actually knew this guy, you were following this story the whole time.
Oh,
right. If imagine if you know
100%.
him,
If
right?
you've been
So
at the
you already know the
island.
rumors.
Yeah.
You know the rumors. You talk to people in his circle. You're following the story close to see what happens. You probably have some culpability, so you're worried about it, you know, because you're friends with this scumbag. So the idea that they have cover from the outcome with his agreement at the end is bullshit.
It's disgusting. And also, like, all of it, like, Chomsky had been in his home, and we've seen the
Yeah.
pictures of little girls bent over on his walls. Like, of course. So, okay, so 2 more things, and then we'll spin the wheel, and then we'll wrap up the Epstein.
We'll get in the
and
muck.
Get out of here.
We'll-
Yeah.
The muck, save the muck for last.
Okay. So the other thing I just did want to point out, we talked about the Richard Branson thing where he's also giving advice on how to escape all of the pedophile accusations being lobbed at him. But in that email, he said, bring your harem. Lovely. Like, who talks like that? But the other thing that we forgot to point out, so this is, the very difficult to read faint writing of that email that they're referring to in the Daily Mail, where he's saying, if Bill Gates could really help you out if he told everybody how helpful you've been. When you go to the bottom, because I don't remember if we pointed this out on Sunday, Jeffrey Epstein is writing to Richard Branson, Obama's friend, the good billionaire. Nice seeing you. Thanks for your hospitality. I appreciate your public relation thoughts. The head of the Nobel Peace Prize Committee, Thorbjørn Jagland, will be staying in New York with me the week of the 20th September. If you're there, you might find this interesting. Just so we're all crystal clear aware that every single esteemed institution is a piece of shit pedophile sympathizer at the minimum.
That they all have relations with this fucking guy, like, especially like 5 years after he was convicted, right?
Yeah.
At that point, how do you not separate yourself? So it's all about money. So that's the best take. The best take I can give you is that you were just interested in the money and connections he could give you. So that's a pox on capitalism in our system as it is.
Yeah.
Right. But at worst case, you're seriously overlooking. I mean, you're part of it for a lot of these fuckers.
Yeah.
And if you won't hold the line on that because of money, well, again, same problem. Like,
I mean, absolutely. Like, and there are even things, and listen, I still, I love a lot of what Chomsky said. Like, I still do. I don't think this doesn't take away from his critiques of media and, imperialism. The words can be separate from the man, but it makes everything ugly. It makes everything ugly because how do you say those things? And you're against Zionism, but you're hanging out with Ehud Barak. You talk about capital and you're hanging out with a disgusting billionaire. I mean, I don't know. I don't even understand how it's possible to be split in two like that. It's very depressing.
And look, at the end of the day, you can say he's a complex person and, errors or whatever. And, you can Chris Brown him. I like the music, but the beating the women thing isn't, my thing or whatever. But you don't have to defend him. Like, let him die on his own. Let him defend himself. Like, don't be Aaron Mate saying, I'm not going to cancel him over this. So he's,
Yeah.
No, you don't. Like, I don't care how much a friend of mine who's accused of sexual assault, and I don't think they probably did it, but I don't know them. I'm not going to jump in and defend them. I'm going to just don't do that. Don't be that guy.
Yeah.
Let Chomsky defend himself on this. Chomsky's not dead.
Yeah.
He's
you can
alive.
just be
Let's hear from
silent.
Chomsky. Let's hear from Chomsky.
Be silent.
Let's hear from him.
Or condemn it, actually, because it's condemnable. Like, yes, I appreciate so much of the, intellectual output of Noam Chomsky, and also severely compromised integrity, and worse, to hang out with a child rapist. Like apartheid state president.
Yeah. And before I hear another word from Chomsky on any other issue, I want to hear about all of this.
Yeah.
Give me Chomsky, all of this explained.
Yeah.
Before I will ever refer to you as a decent human being anymore. I'm sorry.
100%. All right, let's do a quick spin. Quick spin before we get to the last bit of disgusting.
Yeah, baby.
I can do that.
We can drink.
I can totally drink.
Be
but
nice.
Should I spin again?
People want you to be nice.
Yeah, baby.
That's what I was hoping for. A little music with my glass of wine.
All right. We got good old Jesse Wells. Love him.
Yeah.
Every day them get up and look on the TV, them read the newspaper, them want to see the truth. But them can't see the truth. Because the truth will not be found there. That is why the man said this revolution will be telepathic.
I've had more dangerous encounters at gas station counters in the Walmart parking lot. But the smaller the man, the quicker the plan goes to somebody's getting shot. Kevlar and jeans, a mask and a gun and a badge for everyone in the mob. You probably don't need to shoot someone in the face to do the thing that you're calling a job. How's work? Well, they got us shooting women now. How's the pay? Well, there's a bonus if you're wanting in. How's the hours? We shoot them in the daylight, and then we steal them away in the dark of the night. Only the best and the brightest, only the finest get to put on the sacred mask. If you ever been fired, congrats, you're hired for this particular task. Now they'll circle the wagons, drape the man in the flag, and say don't trust what your eyes can see. They'll say it's her fault instead for getting shot in the head when we all saw the same damn thing.
I love him. He's great. He's really great. Hey, we have a few more super chats that we would like to thank. Justin, thank you. Wait until you hear how Robert Maxwell is connected to importing Tetris. There are Russia connections, but ancillary to the Israel connections by far. Okay, another rabbit hole for me to go down. I used to be
ruin
obsessed
Tetris
with
for me
Tetris. Yeah. Were there chat rooms on Tetris? Who knows? Thank you for the super chat.
Give us more info, but I'm curious. Yes.
Yeah, me too. I've never been to the Caribbean, Manhattan, New Mexico, France, or Florida. I think this qualifies me for office. Not that I want that disaster. That's very funny. Cheers to you. I would vote for you, Justin. I would. Thank you. And Sparks, yes. Justice for Palestine. I mean, it's honestly, I just...
You know what? We already know there will never be justice. But let's hope everyone alive there gets to live a better life. That's
You're here. Cheers. Yes.
best we can
Cheers and thank you. Absolutely. 2Fs. If you weren't a PDF file yourself, you would have been at, oh, sorry.
If you weren't in.
I got you. If you weren't a pedophile yourself, you wouldn't have been Epstein's friend. Absolutely. And cheers and thank you. Yeah, there's just no excuse to spend time with a monster like that. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. Okay, so the two last bits of the Epstein stuff that we will be covering tonight are on Sunday. We showed the emails from, and so here's another one where Jeffrey Epstein writes to himself. It's like keeping a log of his activities, but obviously like that's just him retelling something, right? So in
Well, I think it's also it comes to the Mossad piece. Here's a written record of the thing that I got you for.
Right. Yes. But that doesn't prove that the thing actually happened. Right?
Yeah,
Because,
fair.
right? This guy says it. So like that is where some of this, like even the Chomsky thing, I mean, obviously Chomsky was hanging out with him and like, but like, I don't know that Chomsky actually said those things to him. That's just what he says Chomsky was saying to him. And a lot of times Chomsky's wife was the one who was writing for him, Valeria or something. The same thing with the Bill Gates stuff. What we read out loud and showed on Sunday was Epstein writing to Bill Gates saying, I can't believe that after I got you those Russian girls and you got your STD and then you asked me to get penicillin or whatever. And then also, how could I help you give it to Melinda, your wife, surreptitiously? That's a bridge too far. And now you're, not wanting to meet with me without Larry Summers around. And I don't like the way you're treating me. But that's all Jeffrey Epstein writing that, right? Like those are his allegations. So Melinda,
yes, which gave them cover to hide behind this. But look, honestly, we don't know on this situation.
Right.
But what you have to question what's his motivation to put that in writing to himself? Like, why would he
blackmail? I mean, exactly what you said, right? Like
what? Well, but what is the other excuse? Like, let's what is it? What?
Oh, I
tell
see
me
you're
your
saying,
defense of
right.
like why would he put this in writing? Is he writing a fan fiction? He's just like,
well,
carving
maybe Bill Gates would say like, we were letting him go from the foundation. He was not good to be around. And he came up with these, lies to try to incriminate me as a reason that I would let him go, which aren't the facts of the case. Right?
I get it, but which seems more credible is the thing to most normal people.
I mean,
in what situation? And Gates claims like, yeah, we were friends for years and years, and I kept visiting for years and years to try to get money from his philanthropic buddies, and he duped me every time. Every time I met him, we were going to try to raise some money for my foundations and things, but we just never got any of it.
Fucking Bill Gates is a billionaire. Like, you had to go to the one pedophile, like the one convicted pedophile. That's the only guy you could go to for money. Like, it's so absurd. No, I mean, I agree with you. Also, like, just as a reminder, in that email that we showed, there were two different ones, but in one of the two emails on Sunday that we were showing, Epstein even says like, you were asking me to take actions that were so vile to cross these lines. And you're like, you raped and killed children. Like, I don't believe that he actually has any lines. So I guess all I'm saying is it's unfortunate. I believe that Bill Gates is also a child rapist. I know that he denied the Global South a very effective vaccine when it first came out, which contributed to millions of people's deaths. I think he's a monster. So like, I believe he's capable of anything, but I'm just saying it's, this gives Bill Gates the ability to say something like this.
Jeffrey wrote an email to himself. That email was never sent. The email is, false. So I don't know what his thinking was there. Was he trying to attack me in some way? But, it just reminds me, every minute I spent with him, I regret and I, apologize that I did that.
The problem is some of the things that he has sent and some of the information about other people that has come up in those files has been true. Why would he do this and say this about you, do you think?
It's factually true that I was only at dinners. I never went to the island. I never met any women. And so, the more that comes out, the more clear it'll be that although the time was a mistake, it had nothing to do with that kind of behavior.
No girl should ever be put in the situation that they were put in by Epstein and whatever was going on with all of the various people around him. No girl I mean, it's beyond heartbreaking, right? I remember being those ages those girls were. I remember my daughters being those ages, right? So for me, it's personally hard whenever those details come up, right? Because brings back memories of some very, very painful times in my marriage, but I have moved on from that. I purposely pushed it away and I moved on.
So that's the rebuttal. I mean, that's the only reason I wanted to put it out there, because that's what you will hear from the worst people in the world. Like, oh, he made it up. He wrote it to himself. Yeah. I never went to the island or whatever. She left him, and she even left the foundation because of that. Right. Yeah. And that interview with Bill, the telling moment to me is when he's asked, why would Epstein have done this? And he says, well, possibly to, and he struggles a little bit, attack me. He wanted to say blackmail me. Right. Right. He was looking for a word that wasn't blackmail. Right. Because how would you attack Bill Gates? You wouldn't attack him. You would blackmail him on some evidence or something. Right. You can't come out as Jeffrey Epstein and say, he's bad, get him. The public isn't going to listen to you. You're just in it for money or opportunity and power grab from Bill Gates. Yep. I agree. I totally agree. But also I totally agree with Lori and Kimiko, who are saying, like, I mean, yes, she was a victim because he cheated on her, but she was with somebody who was, at the very least, stealing his workers' labor and destroying the environment while hoarding all of the resources, as only a billionaire can do. And she was fine with that. So I don't have a ton of sympathy for her at all. I don't give her a big pass at all, but I will say, look, we know lib friends that would believe he's a good guy. Oh, he was one of the good billionaires. Right. So there's ignorance is bliss, and you're living this great life and you think he's got the foundation. He's doing all these good things in life. Yeah. And then, your natural instinct is to not look at the bad stuff about someone you're with. At least she's pledged his money to charity, and that's more than he's done. Yeah. So I mean, philanthropy is a hell of a laundering machine, but yes, I hear you. Give it all now. If you really believe it and now, give it all now. Let's not wait to give away that money. Yeah, I agree. All right, let's whip through these last horrific things just so we can be done with it. It's so gross. Around the time of this STD situation with Bill Gates, he put out a contest for people to come up with a condom that actually let men feel as much as they could while they were having sex. This is in 2015. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation received 812 entries for its Build a Better Condom competition. 11 of them just got $100,000 to make it happen. That is one way to deal with the STD you just gave your wife. Ava Dubin, who was, I think she was Miss Sweden at one point, former Miss Sweden, but she was also Epstein's girlfriend from 1981 to 1990. She is now married to a hedge fund billionaire, emails this to her ex. He says, I'm at the ranch. And she says, come and visit next week. Selena, that's her daughter, will have 5 friends over. Just so we know who these people are. Okay, then this is all the food stuff. It's disgusting. We're just going to go quickly because this is where that Pizzagate stuff, where they're like, why do they keep talking about pizza and brownies and whatever? We'll have, Chinese cookies were good, but next time we're going to have pizza and grape soda. Here we've got from his assistant, hi,
this
Jeffrey
muffin stuff
wants to take a muffin. Yep, on the plane with him today. Can you please make sure we have one to take? Then Epstein saying So this is that Susan Hamblin. I think she was his assistant at one point who had told him that he had her blessing to kill somebody. I will be sending fresh muffins down with Karina, a different assistant. You currently have 2 steaks left on the island. Would you like new ones? And he writes back, and then Karina, who is the assistant, I am getting more ice creams. This is Jeffrey writing to, I don't even know because it's blacked out. How about a hit list for next subjects to ice cream boarding, my version of torture? What is ice cream boarding? Waterboarding with ice cream? I imagine today is torture for you, all the food and talk about food and cooking of food and gorging oneself. Happy Thanksgiving Day anyway. This is to Peter Thiel. Fun again. I find him unusual. Kant, Spinoza, strategy, operations, assassination squad, ice cream. We're almost done with this. This is him talking to somebody named Oliver Colum on my island in the Caribbean with an aquarium full of girls. The man writes back, the king of Saudi Arabia has a few white sharks in his Jeddah palace. I totally prefer yours. Sure, I would enjoy the view. And Epstein writes back, as 2 are Russian, I guess some might refer to them as white sharks. The guy writes back, I like white sharks. And Epstein says, no, some are like shrimp. You throw away the head and keep the body. Last one from whoever. Thank you for a fun night. Your littlest girl was a little naughty. I do just also want to remind everybody that one of the emails that we showed from Branson on Sunday talks about 2 girls being flown in from Russia who did not have visas to enter. And what that does, obviously, is allows people to be disappeared very easily because they are there without a trace.
Yeah, I don't know. It's all so disturbing. They're so clearly there's only 2 takes here, I think, in what's happening. They're doing the coding pedophilia, sexual assault, transfer, kidnapping, all that shit. Or the best possible take you can give is that this is a joke to them and they're sort of joking about it in that way.
Everybody, but it's not just one person, right?
But that I just want to say that alone is absolutely disgusting. Knowing that they know this stuff about him, they know his history, they know he got arrested. So you can't give him that grace in this. You can't give these people that grace in this, because even if it's just some coded between each other inside joke that we're eating kids and Pizzagate and the littlest girl thing, like that of all the emails is the most damning to me. Like that one is just like, there's no take on that where that can be read any other way. The muffin stuff as well. It's like, there's no talk about it in that way. There's no such thing as like saving ice cream to take to an island. That's not a thing. You don't put ice cream in a ice chest and then transfer it to an island. And for people, it's just all either pedophilia or people not caring about it and joking about it at the best possible take in their defense, which is just as disgusting to me. I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying there's no way out of this for these people. These people are fucking scumbags.
Yeah. And all their names are redacted except for Oliver Colum, who I don't even know who that is. But like, why aren't all the people who are like, I'll take 2 steaks, I'll take a muffin, hey, fill me up with ice cream.
Yeah. Look, it's coded talk for their shit. It clearly is. But even if it isn't, it's these people are such scum. They don't give a shit about joking about that stuff with the guy that's convicted. Like, this is not just joking about oh, my coworker had this false allegation about him, so I'm going to send all these emails and we're going to joke about what a pervy is.
Right.
This is a guy who went to fucking jail, he should be in jail. He should have stayed in jail. And they all knew they know it. So
all know. And again, you know, like, I feel like the whole thing with Pizzagate, where, you know, and all of those emails with like Podesta and the pizzas and all the food talk code, adults don't do that. You could go through all of my emails forever. I've never talked about pizza unless I'm like, hey guys, it's 5. Do you want to order Domino's tonight? And like, there's a receipt for Domino's. I'm not talking about anything else. And it's once every, 6 months. It's not every adult you write to. You're talking about muffins and steak and ice. Like, what in the almighty fuck? And they're all in on it. Yeah, it's disgusting.
Wait, but are you saying we need to revisit Pizzagate? I just want to know. Do
Honestly,
we have to actually revisit it?
Yeah, I think maybe we do. Because, well, look at the paintings in Podesta's place. Like, we've seen his paintings too, with the bloody kids and
Oh, Podesta's an absolute scumbag for sure. I mean,
oh God. Okay, it's 7:30. We have to go prep for our show tomorrow. Thank you to Zeynab Day for doing such incredible, detailed work and for coming on to share it with us. We love you, Zeynab. Thank you to the whole Punch Up Pod family. We love you guys. We adore you. There are some good people out there. You all are some of them. Thank you for sharing tonight with us. Keep punching up. Cheers.
see you tomorrow, hopefully.
6:30.
Sirens in the night, people asking why we stand here together. We won't pass it by. Hey, we won't be silent while our friends are gunned down. Hey, we won't be silent while our friends are gunned down. Say it loud, say it proud. Hey, we won't be silent while our friends are gunned down.